Hello kids, I'm Priyanka and I'm back again with my new video of Class 8 Chapter 10 The Comet II. By the time they finished their deliberation and Sir John dropped him at his hotel off Regan Street, it was 1 a.m. There was hardly any crowd on the street, but when James looked up from his window, a star-studded night sky greeted him. उसने जब अपने विंडो से देखा तो वहाँ पे बहुत विंडो से देखा कि एक स्टार बड़ा सा नाइट स्काई में उसको ग्रीट कर रहा है. Somewhere amongst these stars was Comet Datta heading for the collision with Earth. और इसी में ही कॉमेट दत्ता जो था, कॉमेट दत्ता वाला जो स्टार है वो अर्थ के साइड कोलाइड करने के लिए आगे बढ़ रहा है. It was hard to believe that it was hard to believe the clarity of the future on such a beautiful night. For a moment, James wondered if he had done this sum right. Whatever doubt James may have had about Sir John's efficiency were quickly dispelled when he reported from the conference and found that all the experts listed him by him were there: astronomers, computer scientists, nuclear psychiatrists, space technologists, biologists, all were there. And as Sir John, specially invited, was present, the man who had started it all. Manoj Datta. The conference lasted 1 week and went on under total cover of secrecy. The first the expert checked and rechecked James first the calculation with the latest observation of Comet Datta. He was right. There was no escape from the direct hit predicted by him. There was a small chance that the comet may just gaze the atmosphere of Earth and not collide. In that case, the loss of the life and property would not be total. But the slight respite was hardly reassuring enough for taking no action. Having decided that some action was needed, what form should it take? The expert dismissed defensive measures with living in underground bunkers. It was simply not a practical position, so the only course was to take offensive action. Comet Datta could be marginally depleted from its path by giving it a push. The expert calculated that the bulk of destructive nuclear power available on the Earth would be needed to achieve their mammoth task: a gigantic nuclear explosion suitably directed and suitably timed could do the trick. This could be done by placing the nuclear payload in the spaceship, sending it to intercept the approaching comet, and detonating it by remote control. Success or failure, secrecy must be preserved. Finally, a timetable was drawn for the operation, which was code named Project Light Brigade. The important dates on it were October 10, dispatch the spacecraft from the payload unless by then the comet is already destroyed by natural causes or has changed its path due to unforeseen reason. November 15, rendezvous with comet and detonation of the payload. December 15, it was experiment failed. This was the day of the comet which hit the earth if it succeeded. This was the day the comet would pass by it at a nearby but safe distance. The success of the experiments depended on how massive the comet was. Nobody was estimated. Everybody hoped that it was not very massive. Do you think we will succeed? Datta asked Sir John Macpherson from his opinion. During the week, the two had developed considerably affinity for each other. Mr. Datta, I will give you an honest answer. I'm not buying any Christmas present till December 15. Datta toured the British Isles for 2 weeks after the conference, and he had a pleasant time visiting observation and exchanging views with amateurs as well as professional astronauts. On his return, he was greeted by invitable vast crowd of friends, social leaders, students, and usual hangers-on, loaded with garlands and bombarded by questions from the press. He somehow made his way to the waiting car. Arriving home, he found another crowd gathering at a pandal. He glanced questioningly at Indrani Devi. Surely she knew that he hated crowd. Indrani, obviously uneasy, offered the explanation. I have arranged a yana called Praise to Bless You. But why? Just because I left the shores of India? You know it's no longer taboo. And in any case, you know any view on these meaningless rituals? Indrani Devi looked at Sibaji Babu, the younger brother of her husband. Sibaji Babu coughed and explained, "We have all been very disturbed since you discovered the comet. Guruji recommended a Shanti Yojana to pacify the evil spirit behind the comet. We are all waiting for you to perform the yajna. May I know what specific advantage that is in the ceremony?" Dadatta was outwardly calm. "The comet you have discovered will not cause any ill effect on the earth." And this remark Datta blew up. "Don't you know that this is all a superstition? It would be a content in the olden times when man did not know what comet was. Not so in modern time. Comets are known for what they are. Their movement are forecast precisely by mathematical calculation, and it is clearly established by statistical studies that their visit have no correlation with disaster on earth. All this is of course because of course of futile on my part to explain. You and the likes of you never read even the elementary books of science." Sibaji Babu gently interjected, "But our wise forefathers recommended such yajna." Since his return from London, Datta was in irregular correspondence with Sir John Macpherson. The friendship had grown out of their appreciation on each other virtues. Sir John admired the scientific outlook, while the latter admired the former discipline and efficiency. Their correspondence never mentioned the Project Light Brigade, although once in a while Sir John would hint at its progress in subtle manner that Datta would understand. Meanwhile, Comet Datta was following his predicted path. In due course, it developed a tail. It circled round the sun without breaking apart, nor did it evaporate. The scientists on Project Light Brigade therefore knew that the threat of collision was now very much real. In the middle of October, Datta got a letter from Sir John in the midst of description on the meeting of Royal Astronomical Society. The unseasonable warm weather, the opening match of the football season, and the recent goodbye election. Datta spotted the sentence B was eagerly looking for. "The charge of Light Brigade has begun. Let us hope for the best." So the spacecraft has launched on time. But will it achieve the rendezvous in time and it was at right place? Will the remote control detonation work? What if the gigantic nuclear pile failed to fire? Datta could not share his anxiety with anyone around him. He had to participate in and outwardly enjoy the puja ceremony, the Diwali celebration, and the other festival. His whole sole daytime relaxation was in company of Khoka, his 8 years old grandson, and the course of night looking through Dibya. He was regularly monitoring the comet, now clearly visible even to the naked eye. On November 18, special messenger on the scooter from British Council brought in an urgent telex message for him. The telex operator in Calcutta had wondered what was so special about it to make it so urgent, but on reading this, Datta lost all his lethargy and rushed to the favorite Rasgulla shop. He message read, "I'm confident now of buying my Christmas present on December 15, John Macpherson." On December 15, Comet Datta came close to the Earth at a distance of 80,000 kilometers. Millions saw it and admired it. Only a handful knew how close they had come to total admiration. When the comet had gone far away and was seen no more, Datta felt it safe to make the following comments to his wife. Now that the comet had came and went, are you satisfied that no major disasters took place that can be attributed to it? I agree. that there has been no major disaster, but there could have been some. Do you know how they are avoided? Indrani Devi said with confident voice. Tata looked at her. Did she know? How could she? He had never mentioned Project Light Brigade to her. She probably continuously. I don't understand what you mean. It is very simple. There is no disaster because of yajna at our house. But I never perform the yajna. Don't you remember? I refuses to have anything to do it with it. Of course I do. But we found a way out. At least Guruji did. He said that if you were unwilling to perform the yajna, it could be all right of descendants of yours did it. So we got Koka to dispute for you, and it worked. Isn't Guruji clever? Indrani's voice had a ring trim. Datta formed a mental picture of Koka performing the yojana during mantra dedicated to him, which he did not understand. Approaching ghee at specific intervals into the fire offering flowers, and then the picture changes to an assembly of scientists on the conference analyzing the problem, devising solutions, and executing them rationally and efficiently. It seemed hard to believe that both the pictures were different aspects of contemporary human society. Datta was aware to the gulf that separated the rich from the poor, the educated from the illiterate, the privileged from the unprivileged. But this gap between the ration and the superstition seemed to him far wider, far more sinister. Will human society even succeed in eliminating it? Datta did not know the answer, and this story of Comet II is written by Jayant Narelkar. Thank you.